Morning, we're going to start putting the springs on the axles. Chassis should turn up today, so then we can T-wash it and paint it. We just go through it. We've got the bits off Paddock Spares. Good shout out to them, they're good. Got some really good bits actually. I think I did go through them, but I'll go through them again. So obviously we've got all the spring seats and the bits for the helper spring. Would have been nice to get them in galvanised. I didn't see them on the website in galvanised. Doesn't really matter. We've got the wishbone ball joint, and we've got these ball joints here. They look quite good quality, and they're only about £7. So, you know, I'm really pleased with Paddock Spares. Got these bump stops as well. Good cheap prices. Good enough from what I need. And we pushed out the old ball joint the other day, so I'm just painting that up. And then we'll put the new ball joint in there later on, once we get it all painted. Sorted. So what I've done here is just painted them. I know they're galvanised, I'm just painting them anyway. I'm putting a big blob of grease there, so when that sit on there, there'll be grease in between, which will help. I did have to replace the bolts. The bolts, what came with it, a little bit small, but I've got some bigger bolts, so it's not a big deal. Obviously, the bolts are just to use one spring, not with the helper, I think. They're just a bit short, so I prefer to use slightly longer ones myself. Something I have noticed, that the spacers on the helper spring, I noticed on the old one what I took off, there's some washers under there. So I'm going to put a washer in between there, just to make sure this hold and this hold level, so we're not rocking when we close it down. If I put a washer under there, that will sort that out. So it's something to remember. What I'm going to do is put some copper grease on the threads of the bolt. I've also got myself an extra washer. I don't come with that, but just personal preference. I'd like a washer on both sides of the nut. You don't really need it because you've got a 10mm hole there, so you don't really need a washer, but it's just a personal preference. I'm going to put a washer being as I've got a spare one. So I don't know if you can see, I've put a washer underneath each hole on the helper spring, and that's just stopped that rocking now, so I would prefer to do that. That's just a little bit better. That's not right necessary, but keep it nice and level. So we'll get some bolts in. So I'll put copper grease on this bolt, which I was going to use, which is slightly longer than the bolt that came with the pack, but we're going to need a bolt maybe this long. And this is the old one that came out. You can see that they've packed it with washers both sides just to make it sit nicely, which I think I like. If we hold that bolt there, that's probably the size that need to be. So that bolt is like another 10mm longer. Just need a 10mm longer bolt to fit the helper springs. Probably could get away with that if we tightened it right up, but this will be better. And as you can see, they're the old bolts I took off. And you can see there, yeah, the thread and a half is what they say, so that's probably the best size to use. So we've got the first nut on. I haven't used the spring washer. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lock nut, so it's not necessary, but I have got a flat washer there, a flat washer in between there to keep that level, and a flat washer on the top, because that was rocking around. So I've got a washer under there. The helper spring bit is not rocking now at all, so you need a little washer under there just to help that. You can see this is almost touching there, and on that side that's all good there. You can see it. I might just spin it round a bit so that will even itself out. Got both bolts in, plenty of grease, because we don't really want it to rust, of course. You can see how it will rust, because obviously water's going to sit in here and everything. I could have maybe drilled a hole in it, but just something you've got to clean out. If you do a bit of go through the mud, you really need to make sure you pressure wash all the mud off there. But I shall carry on with all the other springs, and when we do the front spring, because we've got to put the shock absorber in, I'll go through that one as well. So I'm quite pleased with that. So according to Google, you put the tighter springs at the top, is which I've done. Obviously they would collect mud and everything else, and you want it nice and clear so you can clean this. So I'm going to have a little mess around and play with it, because I just want to make sure that's nice and tight, how it should be. Maybe spin it around a bit and get it as tight as possible. So we just loosened off, spun the spring a bit. It's obviously nice and tight on that side, and I'm sure that'll tighten down on this side now. So yeah, just twist it, get it in nice and tight. Why not? At the end of the day, it is a spring retainer, so it shouldn't be forcing the spring, but obviously it should hold the spring reasonably tight. Right, so I think with the helper spring, that is why they pack also underneath there, just to try and stop that bending up when you tighten it. I mean, it's nipped it on the other side, so it's not a major thing. There it is in, with a helper spring in the middle, ready. So we'll carry on with the rest. So the chassis is turned up. We'll just whip this cross member off. That holds the rear tub on, and the rear bulkhead sort of fixed to there. I think the tub fits to there as well. I do need to get another few brackets that are missing, which Richards didn't seem to understand about, which I did send them photos, but I never got. But all in all, very good. So take that off, take this off, because obviously I want to T-wash and paint it. So pretty good. There's the bulkhead. Nice. So these here are the brackets that we need to get, that Richards, I don't think they do them. So we need to get them. This little bracket, obviously on both sides. There's that cross member piece, which I've got to take off, is completely rotten. You can see probably these little brackets we need to get as well, with the little rubbers on. There's a few little bits and pieces that we need to just get and check out. Other than that, all pretty good. And obviously we've got to spare one of them now, so if anyone wants one of them, give us a ring. Yeah, so you can see we need to get them brackets that fit on there. We'll get them from YRM, but I don't really want to put stainless ones on. Hopefully I can get some galvanised. Maybe paddock spares, do them as well. I've got to take one more bolt out of here. We had them little rubber bits on here somewhere, didn't we? Bolted on there, I suppose. So we'll have to see if we can obtain some of them. Just little bits and pieces. Other than that, it's all pretty good. So this ball joint is choosing to be very difficult to get in. I wish I'd have took it back to the press by my friends, but I've been using that to bang it. Obviously I don't want to do the bolts up tight in case they ring off, but we're nearly there. But probably better to press that in. Well, we got it in. You have to reuse the bolts. Obviously I've made a bit of a mess of it, but use a press is the answer to that one. But we got it done. Just have to sand it down again because I've got everything all oily. So we've gone over the full chassis with some T-wash. You can see it's discolouring now. Half a litre was plenty. I've still got a little bit left over. The only thing I am a bit annoyed about is it looked like they drilled a hole, but no, it's just some swarf, I think. So no, it's just from that's just from where they've re-thread all the holes after galvanising, so that's no problem. So I'm really pleased with that. There's the bulkhead. Made sure I got plenty of T-wash on these bits, because obviously they're going to be painted and on view when the Land Rover is completed, you know, with proper paint. Not so fussed about the chassis itself, as long as we get some black paint on it, that'll look okay. I kept some in the bottle because I had a cut on my hand and a sting, so I suggest you wear gloves. You're supposed to wear gloves. Sometimes that look like that's not really on there, but so it's say to leave it for 15 minutes to an hour, so I'll keep spraying a little bit more on, and we'll give it a wash down and then we can start painting it. I've also done these bits and the turret tops. There is some little brackets I need to do in that bag, so we'll get them out and do them. These are some brackets that hold down the rear of the tub. You see in there? There's the brackets. We'll give them a quick T-wash as well. What I didn't realise is Richard's Chassis sent me, well, I ordered it, a bulkhead kit, but obviously I actually ordered some of this stuff. So I've actually double ordered some of this, because I got some of this from Yarm as well, or that, and I got some stainless steel kit from Yarm, but then again I got plenty of extra bolts and pieces, so all these red things are handy, so I've done it so I had some extra bits and pieces. These are fly screens that I've got to go in, and you've also got in there, it look like you've got a heater. Well, you've got your seals for the flaps, I think, in there. I'm not sure. We'll have to have a look. So I just emptied this bulkhead kit from Richard's. I mean, that's a brilliant kit. The only thing I didn't realise is it came with this. So I've actually ordered this from Yarm, but that's probably cheaper than Richard's. And you've got all these other seals that go around the pedals and stuff, which you just wouldn't have. So Richard Chassis is really good, really pleased. So you do get these little bits what the rubber go on, which I didn't think you got. So the only brackets I need to get are them ones for the body. Richards don't supply them, don't know why, and no doubt there'll be an odd bracket here and there that I probably need, but until we start putting it together we're not going to know. Right, so I'm going to carry on with this. There's not much more to show you today, really. Thanks for watching as always. Like and subscribe.